Absolutely. Thanks for coming on as always, Reggie. Before we get started, you're a Penn State grad. Obviously, the passing of Joe Paterno has devastated the Nittany Lion family. Your thoughts, Reggie, on the living legend that was Joe Pa, and any memory or story that you're willing to share with us?
Even after some of the things that I went through with Joe and my time there as a football player didn't end perfectly because I sort of didn't know how to act right at all times. But, there are so many things about my life that I lived through and continue to do on a daily basis that I learned from him. One of the things I tell people all the time, especially when I talk to young athletes, is don't make the same mistake twice. And that was one of the biggest things that Joe always taught me.
I think this Duke team is very dangerous. We'll get to the actual analysis of their chances in the tournament here in a second. I think they were on the ropes against the Hokies again, which would have been the third loss at home, which is unheard of. I think that's why you hear the outcry for Duke. People are not used to Duke losing at home. People want to say that maybe the Cameron Indoor has not become as crazy a place as it is. I totally disagree. I think they sleepwalk because they're young through a lot of teams. I've seen Kansas do it a lot, where they sleepwalk a lot through games. Coach K will have them boys ready to play at NCAA tourney time.
I think Brandon Trish has got to give them big shots and big defensive plays. And finally, last but not least, they've got to rebound the basketball.
Absolutely. We move on to the Big 12, where the Jayhawks yesterday claimed either a share or outright Big 12 championship regular season title for the 8th straight year. Absolutely disgusting 1-2 combo with Thomas Robinson and Tyshawn Taylor in the backcourt. You got Withy, big man in the middle, Connor Tehan knocking down shots. Why won't the Jayhawks be cutting the nets down?
I think for the Jayhawks, a couple things. The first thing is matchups. If they get caught against a team like a Missouri or that type of pace, Jeff Withy becomes irrelevant. He can't give them anything. If they can't get something consistently out of Jeff Withy, night in and night out in the tournament, they're going to struggle to win a championship because it's all going to be on Thomas Robinson's shoulders in terms of interior basketball, rebounding, and scoring, which it hasn't been an issue for him to this point. But again, we're talking about tournament play where the level of play continues to rise with each week. And the other aspect is Tyshawn Taylor's got to handle the ball better. He's got to be better about holding on to the basketball and maintaining possession. He turns the basketball over entirely too much for a player with that experience level and a roster filled with players like that around him. So if he continues to have issues with taking care of the basketball, Kansas is going to have some problems in the NCAA tournament.
Getting to the Missouri Tigers, which you just mentioned beforehand, knockdown shooters all over the place. This is a tough team to defend. You got the Pressy boys in the backcourt, Dixon, Denman, Kim English, down low Ratliff. This is an impossible team to match up with. Why won't Missouri win the championship?
Well, you mentioned Ratliff, and he, to me, is the reason why. I mean, the guy, I love him as a player. He shoots the ball well. He's shooting 71% from the field. But for a team that plays with so many guards, and they really only use one big man, it's unacceptable that he only plays about 26 minutes a game. He generally ends up in big games. He picks up too many early fouls and has to spend too much time on the bench. There's no depth behind him. Steve Moore is not going to score any points. He's not a great athlete. At times he rebounds, but he doesn't consistently rebound the basketball, which means Kim English and the guards have to rebound more, which slows the breakdown. Ricardo Ratliff has to stay on the floor and give Frank Hayes 32 to 35 minutes a game if they're going to do anything as it relates to marching towards a Final Four in the NCAA tournament.
Switch our attention over to the Duke Blue Devils. I think they have the best guard in the nation in Austin Rivers, although he's a freshman, as you alluded to earlier. The three ball is the big key with Duke. They have Coach K. Why won't Duke be cutting the nets down?
More consistent and be completely dominant on both ends of the floor in the paint. Just think about this. If the Plumlees can be more consistent in the paint and force double teams, especially when they have Ryan Kelly on the floor as a stretch four, you can't double. And those guys will get layups and dunks all day long. If they're not a threat and dominating the paint, you can stay home on shooters and force those guys to beat you. The Plumlees have to dominate the paint, and when the shot clock gets late, Austin Rivers has to have them. They have to give Austin Rivers the carte blanche to get whatever shot he wants, which he can, and he'll take them to the promised land if his big guy can make sure he has the space to operate.